Two of the most chaotic forces in Dragon Ball history. One, a mindless engine of destruction with no limits to his rage. The other, a walking apocalypse who fights with laughter, unpredictability, and pure insanity. It's the legendary Super Saiyan versus the ultimate Majin. Raw power versus chaotic energy. No rules, no holding back, just destruction. But who actually wins in a fight between Broly and Kid Buu? Is overwhelming strength enough to crush regeneration and madness, or does unpredictability give Buu the edge? If you enjoy conversations like this and want to take part in deeper Dragon Ball discussions, I highly encourage you to join the Dragon Ball HQ Discord server, link below in the description. We'll be diving into this topic and more over there. Now, without further delay, let's begin. When it comes to raw destructive power and cosmic threat levels in Dragon Ball Z, Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, stands in a league of his own. Even while restricted in a heavily suppressed Super Saiyan state, he managed to decimate immense portions of the southern galaxy. And to be clear, that region isn't just one galaxy, it's an entire quadrant of space, home to countless galaxies and star systems. Canonical sources such as Daizenshu 4 and Chozenshu 4 support the idea that the Dragon Ball universe contains an unquantifiable number of galaxies within an infinite universe. So when Broly destroys a significant swath of galaxy clusters while holding back, we're talking about multi-solar system or even multi-galaxy level power at bare minimum. Further bolstering this threat is the repeated narrative throughout various media that is, if left unchecked, Broly's rampage would eventually consume the entire universe. Whether this is a literal or instantaneous feat or something more gradual is never concretely clarified, but the implication is clear. Broly is a universal level menace. Durability is another key factor in Broly's resume. After his brutal encounter with Goku and the others in his debut film, he returns in Broly's Second Coming, even more dangerous than before. It takes a coordinated effort from Goku, Gohan, and Goten, three seasoned Saiyans, to bring him down. But the strongest form of Broly seen during the Z era arguably comes from Bio Broly, despite how horrible his movie was. That film introduced us to an enhanced genetically modified Broly, infused with biotechnology to create a Bio Warrior variant of the legendary Super Saiyan. According to official media like DVD set booklets, this version is meant to be stronger than the one seen in movie 10. The reason his threat feels diminished in this movie is because he's hindered by the bio-liquid substance coating his body and by vulnerabilities to environmental factors like salt water. Still, it's important to realize that the bio-warrior versions of Broly and the others in that movie had absurd durability. If we were to assume that these were just regular humans, or at the very least a Raditz or Turles level of a fighter, Broly getting a boost this large would be pretty significant. Even ignoring Bio Broly's handicaps, his origin matters. Broly's base potential was staggering from birth, with born a power level of 10,000, which far surpassed even Saiyan elites as an infant. Then he received experimental amplification, and the result? A being that should logically operate on a tier well above the other Buu era threats from Z. At his peak, Broly stands tall as a multi-galactic threat by virtue of scaling, feats, and implied potential. Now, with Broly out of the way, let's pivot to Majin Buu, specifically Kid Buu. In the manga, Kid Buu's most notable accomplishment was annihilating hundreds of worlds over the course of several years. While certainly destructive, this doesn't match the scope or speed of Broly's galactic scale devastation, which happened in a much shorter time while suppressed. So, when comparing pure destructive scale, Broly wins outright. Of course, there are statements sprinkled throughout the franchise implying Kid Buu could destroy the universe. However, most of these seem to refer to a long-term threat rather than an instantaneous explosion, more like Buu gradually erasing existence rather than a one-shot universal wipe. El Manga Legendario, for example, backs this with similar phrasing, but again, the actual events of the manga don't support any direct galaxy or universal shattering feats. However, once you start examining the anime, things take a major turn. Kid Buu in the anime is shown attacking the Grand Kai's planet, a location with a small size scale compared to the living universe itself. While Grand Kai's domain is only a part of the upper realms, it's still immense. If Kid Buu had the capability to destroy it in one blow, his power scales into the galactic or multi-galactic level easily. Even damaging it to the degree he does suggests a significant cosmic tier firepower. The anime also showcases Super Saiyan 3 Goku's clashes with Kid Buu rippling across the Kaioshin realm, one-tenth the size of the entire macrocosm, which includes all planes of existence. The shockwaves alone reaching across such a domain implies that both Goku and Kid Buu at minimum possess galaxy-busting potential, if not more depending on the interpretation. But the peak display of Buu's power comes from Buuhan, the absorbed Gohan variant. When enraged, he launches an energy blast so powerful it threatens to unravel the very structure of the universe through a chain reaction. This isn't hyperbole, mind you. The anime, Kai remake, and supporting material all point to the universal scale of this blast. Vegeta had to intercept and contain it, and while he didn't fear the damage, he recognized it as a legitimate cosmic threat. That's a feat not even Broly has directly replicated on screen. So, how does it stack up? If we use manga-only content, Broly wins decisively. And if we go with the anime exclusive showings, Buhan could arguably defeat Broly, and Kid Buu might pose a real threat if someone were to believe that Kid Buu is the strongest Buu. That being said, however, Broly's speed is quite the game changer. Speed is often overlooked in these power comparisons, but it could be Broly's secret weapon. If we use the Dragon Ball movies as a point of reference, Broly might scale above characters like Metal Cooler, who might be able to track and react Goku's instant transmission. In fact, the fight between Goku and Metal Cooler occurred in a timeless space described in official guides as a realm beyond time. That implies immeasurable speed transcending time-based physics. It's also relevant to note that Broly movies are a part of a connected continuity. Movies 8 and 10 share narrative leads. Characters like Cooler and Paragus appear in movie 12's villain revival montage, further linking the films. If Broly's strength and speed are meant to escalate beyond Cooler, as Koyama suggested, then it stands to reason that he'd inherit and surpass those speed feats as well. In fact, Koyama stated that Broly was the strongest character in the Z movie and anime canon, only being surpassed by Beerus later. While he's admitted to having a soft spot for Broly, the consistency of his stance adds weight to the idea that Broly surpasses every Buu form in raw might. So, to conclude, if you base your analysis on the manga's canon, Broly trouches the Kid Buu character. If you only look at the anime, Buhan could overwhelm Broly, which therefore Kid Buu would scale to, and he'd be above Broly. No matter the angle, however, Broly emerges as a likely victor in most interpretations, with the possible exception of Buhan being under anime-specific exclusive scaling. And in terms of speed, Broly should have it in both cases, making the battle pretty one-sided. Oh, you're still there. Well,
Hello there.
if you're still watching at this point in the video, it's for two possible reasons. Either A, you're a die-hard Majin Buu fan, or B, you're the type of person who likes to see things through to the end. Either way, you're my type of viewer, those I feel I can truly connect with. That said, let me tell you how things go down over here on Majin Buu. I love Dragon Ball, so you see me making all kind of Dragon Ball content on this channel. This can range from what-if theories, explanations, and my personal takes. These different topics are sorted by thumbnail or title. If the video says what if, then that's what it is. Look for a thumbnail that looks like fan art. What ifs will mainly be uploaded to the Patreon. There you'll find all kinds of what if theories very soon. I usually post episode 1 on the channel, but the continuation will be on Patreon. If the video title asks a question, it's usually a take of mine, me giving an opinion about a specific topic or idea. In videos with thumbnails like this, white border, or explanation videos, look there to learn something new or revisit older topics you enjoy hearing. Make sense so far? The last thing I want to tell you guys is about the official Discord, Dragon Ball HQ. Here, I'd like to build a wholesome community of Dragon Ball fans where we can discuss the miracle that is Dragon Ball. See you there.